Hello everyone, I'm Míriam Bonastre and I'm a comic artist. I'm the author of two webtoons, Hooky and Marionetta. And today I'm gonna show you how I draw two characters of my latest webtoon, Marionetta, that is getting a printed edition this October of 2026. And I'm so excited about it. So yeah, let's get started. You can draw along with me, or you can get inspired maybe by my art style or the tips or the process I show you to draw your own characters. So let's go. As you can see, I start, well, when I actually draw the comic, I tend to draw first a rough sketch with circles and skeletons and very rough drawings of the poses to have a basis to know what to draw, right? And today I'm gonna draw two portraits of the two characters and two full bodies. When I draw portraits, I skip that part of the process. I skip the rough sketch because I'm very used to draw faces, especially of these characters, because I have drawn them thousands and thousands of times already. So it's very easy for me. So yeah, when I sign my books or draw a panel with only a face, I skip the rough sketch step. And as you can see, I drew a sketch, but it was a detailed one. I started with the face shape, and then I drew the features of the face, and after that the hair. This is Julia. This is the protagonist of Marionetta. She's a very serious and stuck-up girl, a little bit grumpy as well. I love her very much for that reason, because in my last story in Hooky, most characters were so sweet and adorable and kind, and they were so... it was nice to draw them and write about them, but Julia is very fun because she gets anxious, she gets nervous, she cries and shouts, and it's very grumpy, and I find that very fun to draw. So whenever I draw like a portrait of her, like this one, I tend to draw her grumpy or with a nervous expression. She also has a very typical shoujo manga protagonist type of design with round features, but with a round but also pointy face shape, big and expressive eyes, and the hairstyle is very inspired by 90s anime. Some people have told me that her hairstyle reminds them of the character Ranma from the Ranma manga and anime by Rumiko Takahashi. It's a very famous series from the 90s that I watched as a kid. So yeah, I can see it. The hairstyle is very 90s. I feel like my art style in general has a lot of 90s anime inspiration, because that's why I consumed, I watched, I read as a kid and as a teenager. Well, I wasn't a teenager in the 90s. I was a teenager in the 2000, yes. So yeah, usually when I have my first sketch, the second step is inking. But this time I wanted to finish the drawing only with pencil, because I find that pencil is a very how do you say that in English? Well, I like the texture, I like the experience. It's a very cozy art technique for me, because the technique I started drawing with pencils. I like a lot the different textures you can do with that. So I decided to do like the line art with pencil this time. If I was drawing the actual comic, I usually do everything from the rough sketch to the more detailed sketch to the inks and the flat colors, the detailed colors, everything with a digital tablet on Photoshop. So everything is digital because that's faster than doing it traditionally. And when you're a comic artist, you want to go fast because you need to draw lots and lots and lots of panels every week, especially when working with Webtoon. So that's the reason I do it everything digitally nowadays. But I still like the feeling of drawing with a pencil. So I finished Julia here, and now we will go with Camille, her best friend. I think it's a good moment to talk about the characters. While Julia is a very serious and grumpy girl, her best friend is the complete opposite from her. It's she's very, how do you say that? Like happy and chill and calm and, well, a very happy girl in general. Very, yeah, chill and happy. And she's not serious at all. She is very adventurous. She's very romantic. And she's bored at the beginning of the series because both girls have a very normal and boring life working in the textile industry. Yeah, in a very militarized country. So they have a very boring life. But Camille, the best friend of Julia, decides to escape her boring life by going away, leaving her home with a circus. And Julia decides to follow her to save her from the misfits and freaks from the circus. And that's where the story begins, because this circus is not a normal one. It's a circus of dead people. Well, technically undead people. So yeah, they both find themselves stuck in this circus like for eternity. And Julia, especially, our main character, she dies. Well, both of them die, but she signs a pact with a mysterious creature, and she's supposed to kill the ringmaster of the circus in order to not like die for real and be able to keep living in the circus. So that's the start of the story. So they transform a lot during the series. They start as two very like maybe basic young girls. And this design I'm drawing here is the first appearance design. But when they start working in the circus, they start like wearing all kind of outfits and fun clothes and costumes and everything. But I don't want to spoil anything about the outfits. I felt like for the first volume, these designs are the most iconic for them. And as you can see, them both have some differences in their design. While Julia has a round face but kind of pointy, and she has also how to say that, like her eyes are like shaped like a cat, like almond. It's like almond shape. That's the word, yeah. Because she has a very grumpy personality, like a black cat. almost. Camille has like droppy eyes because she's very dreamy, very calm, very, yeah, she's a dreamy girl, calm, chill. So I wanted to show that in her design. She also is very, it's rounder than Julia. Her face is shorter and more like chubby. Is that the word? Yeah. She also has small eyebrows. She's less expressive than Julia because Julia is very, very expressive. So I wanted to show everything in their design. They also, even though in this first design I'm drawing now, they're wearing their work uniforms. Camille always wears like flowers, bows, and all kind of accessories to show her creativity, her femininity, her desire for freedom. So yeah, she likes to how do you say that in English? Like personalize? No. Well, she likes to I don't know the exact word in English, but to edit what the work uniform, while Julia, who is very serious, wears the work uniform as it is, exactly as it is, without like anything out of the ordinary. Yeah, so here you can see how I'm doing the same process with both of them. I'm finishing the details of Camille's face with a pencil. While I usually draw Julia with a grumpy face, when people ask me to draw Camille for a signature of the book or something, I like to draw her like with a sleepy face almost. I feel like she's always kind of, yeah, with this expression, like an sleepy expression. Okay, let's finish her hair. So now that we're finishing the portraits, I also want to draw the full body. When I work in the actual comic, it's very useful for me to draw like a rough sketch, especially with action scenes, because I'm not an expert. I'm quite the opposite of an expert at drawing action scenes, but I like to challenge myself. So I try to draw my characters doing all kind of poses, even if it's not an action scene. Even if it's two characters talking to each other, I like to draw them like doing this all kinds of poses with their hands. Like I enjoy drawing them expressing with their bodies. So I always start with a rough sketch. Since we're doing this in paper instead of digitally, well, I'll show you how I used to do it when I drew on paper. Because when I started drawing comics at the beginning of my first webtoon series, Hooky, I actually drew all the panels traditionally. I mean, with paper, pencil, ink, and for the rough sketch, I like to do it with a color instead of a pencil. So I'm finished. I finished Camille and Julia's face. Yeah, I will start drawing the bodies now. So, as I was saying, with Hooky, and every time I draw something traditionally, I like to draw the rough sketch with a color. Like in this case, I will use blue. blue color, but you can use whatever you want, like orange, pink, red, whatever. Okay. Why? Maybe are you asking yourself? Because this way you keep the drawing cleaner. You make the first sketch with blue, and then you ink with pens or ink or whatever. And I use it. What I used it to do was scan the drawings, and then with Photoshop I erased all the blues. Like there's an option digitally which you can erase the blue tones, so then you magically have the the drawing completely clean without the sketch, right? That's a very typical technique for comic artists, for traditional comic artists. So I like to keep doing it when I draw traditionally. So as I said before, when I draw full bodies, I always start with a rough sketch of the pose, the posing. I don't know the word in English, sorry, but I try to define the anatomy with like circles and cylinders. Oh, I don't know the word either. I try to define the anatomy with the blue, and then with my pencil or ink, I draw the details. I will draw the face, the clothes, and everything. But it's very important when I draw first, when I draw full body, to make the sketch first, at least for me. So in this case, the way they're standing, it's also very characteristic of each of them. Julia is making a power pose because he's a girl boss, kind of. I mean, kind of. He has a big personality, so he's making a power pose with yeah. And while Camille is making a more girly and cute pose. I like to draw them like this because this way, with a quick glance, you can see what are their personalities. I like to do this every time I draw like a character alone, because how do you explain this? I mean, when I'm drawing a character, it's very important that everything in their design, the clothes, their facial expression, their features, and the way they move, or the way they stand, it's telling you who is this character, what is their personality. It's I like to do it this way because when you write and draw as a comic artist, it's very important to like show, don't tell, and showing through your characters who they are instead of just writing it will communicate easier to your readers who they are, easier and more naturally. So instead of saying, yeah, Camille is a very girly and chill and calm girl, I don't say that. Anyone in the series say that. I just draw her with flowers and bows and making cute poses and everything. So I always try to do that with all my characters, not only with the main characters, but also with all the extras, secondary characters, because in the circus where they find themselves trapped, there's lots and lots and lots of extras. I actually designed all of them. I have a Photoshop file with all of their designs. And even if they're not main characters, most of them don't have names. They all have their personalities, and I like them to show it in the background of the panels of the comic. So yeah. You can see here how also Julia is taller than Camille. There isn't a reason for that. I just thought that since Camille is the older one, it may be fun for Julia to be taller than her because they've been childhood friends since always. So when they started being friends, Camille was the taller one because she's 2 years older than Julia. And I find it cute that the tables have turned and now is Julia the taller one. Yeah. Julia's hair is also a very important aspect of her character arc because you can see how her hairstyle is a tight braid. Is that the word? Yeah, tight braid, right? Whatever. It's a tight hairstyle. Uh, Very comfortable to work. Very serious. Maybe not serious, but kind of formal, maybe. And while the story progresses, uh, she literally and figuratively, I don't know the word, but she gets more comfortable. She gets less serious. Well, I mean, it's normal, right? She gets trapped in a circus. So obviously she can be as serious as she was prior to that because she has to adapt to a circus environment. She has to find herself in this kind of world of misfits and artists and people who is always having fun and being undead and being immortal forever. um she also mm, gets to know new people, lots of new people, interesting, maybe romantic interests. So slowly she starts to wear her hair differently. Um, she she starts. How do you say it in English? Well, she stopped wearing it tied in a braid. So her clothes as well as her hair are very, very significant of her character development. That's something that I like to do every time I make a story. Like since I like to make the clothes and the hairstyle very representative or yeah, very defining. Yeah, defining is the word. Very defining of each character I'm writing about. Their clothes, their hairstyle, also change through the story. I did that in Hooky as well. Hooky was a story about witches, and witches there always wear black clothes. And every time a character wanted to make magic or wanted to stop doing magic, I I use it to draw them wearing black clothes. if they're doing magic, and uh, colored like full color clothes if they're not doing magic. So Marionetta, I'm doing something similar. As you can see, we're inking, well, not inking, finishing the make drawing the finishing line art of Camille now. Actually, this exercise was very relaxing for me because I've been working on webtoons for so many years. And when you are working for webtoon, you have to draw in very tight um, deadlines. Like each week, you have to finish an episode each week. Yeah. So I don't have the opportunity to draw traditionally with paper and pencil as much as I wanted to, as much as I did when I was studying. So this exercise was very relaxing for me. Mm, I kinda like the result also, the way you can do all kind of textures and shades with the pencil, finishing their skirts. When I'm designing clothes for my characters, I like to look for inspiration on the internet. So don't be don't be scared of seeking inspiration wherever you want, like real life or books or other comics you like, or maybe the internet. I use it a lot of Pinterest to draw all the outfits, and also for the poses. It's very useful to photograph yourself or maybe your friends to have a reference. So yeah, we're finishing now. Her boots. Yeah, we're almost there. So thank you so much for watching this. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you found something I said interesting. Sorry for my English. I hope you understood everything I said. I had so much fun doing this, and I hope you also had fun if you drew along your characters or my characters. And thank you so much for watching. Bye bye.